Mitrulara Bandulara Swagatamu Vanakamu to South Asia Maps Education Channel. This is your presenter Dr. J. Reddy J. Tirupati Reddy. In this education channel, I like to share my passion on Indology, studies of Mother Bharat and human ecology and related topics. Today we are going to discuss about the historic old districts or historic districts of Assam province or Assam state in northeast Bharat. Old districts, taluks and tehsils. District as sub-districts, they are called taluks in Dakshin Bharata and they are called tehsils in Aryavarta, Uttar Bharata. And we'll be looking at these things. One of the advantages of looking the old districts and tehsils is, suppose here, let's say in part A we have selected, let's say 6 districts or so. In each 6 districts you can know 4 taluks of each districts, that will be 24 taluks. Generally most of these taluks of old districts are now elevated to the new districts. In that way, your transition from understanding the current 34 or 35 districts of Assam state province will be much easier. And in this Assam series, we are going to cover, this is the Assam series, Assam, this is the royal insignia of Assam Ahom kings started by Kingdom Rajarshi Sukapa, who reigned from 1228 to 1268. In addition to a broader Assam, I am also going to cover in the same series Assam plus Sylhet or Srihatta or Sribhumi region that is used to be historically part of Assam during the colonial time. In 1947, the national leadership ignominiously surrendered them to conquistador leaders and Jinnah League. And all these presentations will be, I have posted at South Asia Maps J. Reddy. And there are around about 770 videos or so during the Ugadi New Samvatsara time of Telugu calendar in Dakshina. 700 videos, 770 videos. I have posted them in around about 70-75 playlist. You can pick and choose the appropriate one. Old districts and taluks of Assam. That is the point of discussion today. Why should we look at the old districts? We discussed broadly. After Battle of Palasi and Buxar, British appointed a prominent geographer during the time of Warren Hastings. At that time, they started systematically collecting the terrain information and forming the jilas, the districts. Jilas is the Persian word. The district is the synonymous translation of the jila. And when the British left Bharat, there used to be around about 45-50 divisions or so above the districts, jilas, and each division, if you give round about 5 or so, the districts, you should get round about 250 or so at that time. That is the Radcliffe time. And across the Radcliffe line on the west side and the Bhagirathi Radcliffe line on the east side, together partitioned Bharat and South Asia, there are around about 800-850 districts or upajilas, how you count. So that means you started with those 250 or so the district in this area. Is a broad term because it might have not included the many areas like central provinces, Madhya Bharat and Malwa and Rajputana like that. But if you remember those 250 I covered elsewhere, you can look at the British India 44 divisions and districts. You can very easily understand the modern current districts. And I have covered them extensively for various other provinces also. Just here I am almost the entire Bharat I covered in extensive details, and you can look at them, and I will not be going in depth here. So they are there in the posted in the YouTube channel. Here I am going to show the same things because I will be broadly covering these districts and taluks so that if you get lost in the pronunciation, here there are the names. In addition to these taluks, I might have included the prominent landmarks also. You have to keep in mind. So these are because I am going to cover this in two parts. The Assam old districts and taluks Tehsil part A, because if you take this British Assam, and I have taken the northern part and will cover the southern part in part B later. The districts we'll be going to cover are Goalpara district and Kamrup, Darrang and Lakhimpur, Sibsagar and Nowgong. Remember, the spellings can vary. Sibsagar can be Sivasagar, Nowgong is Nowgong, and so on. So those things you keep in mind. So this is the Bhutan and Balipara frontier track, Sadia frontier track, that is the Nifa region, Northeast Frontier Agency, different from Northwest Frontier Province, that is the Jamrut and Parushapura and those area, that is the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa today, and that is different from Northwestern Frontier. Sorry, Northwestern Province, that is the mostly western side of United Provinces, Uttar Pradesh. So this is the Goalpara district, that is the west of Manas river. And there is a Bar Nadi here, west of that, and between Manas river is the historic Kamrupa district. And this is the north of the Brahmaputra, this is south of Brahmaputra. North of Brahmaputra, the Darrang district, and Lakhimpur used to be a very big district, that is the Trans-Brahmaputra district, that is the Lakhimpur, Dhemaji areas on the north, and Dibrugarh, those areas, Tinsukia, Lido on the south. Is a trans across both the sides of river Brahmaputra, that is Sangpo or Dihang or Siang river. And I also added the here Nowgong district and historic Sibsagar district. Remember, the district boundaries, regions at spatio-temporally, they can change regarding a particular year. So this is the broader area. So we'll talk about, this is the border between the historic Bengal province and Assamese province is the Sankosh river or Gadadhar river or Gangadhar river. So east of that and until the Manas river, the Manas and Maramanas river is called Goalpara district, used to be part of Rangpur area of Purbi Bengal. So here Goalpara I put it, southern part of Dhubri district, the Dhubri area, and Bongaigaon, a famous railway station, and historic city of Bijni, and Kokrajhar here. This is essentially the British got this area after Duar wars. Duar means gateways, like a Tarai region, south of Bhutanese and Arunachala hilly region. So Manas river as well as the wildlife sanctuary here. In Bhutan there is a Royal Manas wildlife sanctuary, and the southern part is the Mankachar and Salmara, South Salmara, and that region. So the historic Goalpara district here. Then we have historic Kamrupa district, that is a broader Gauhati Dispur area. Now we have the rural and urban areas. And the northern part, Dwar region, that is the Dwar region, Tarai region, and central part, this is the old alluvium region, that is the Bangar region, and further south, the Khadar region, that is the Charland and riverine area. We have Tamalpur area and Rangia history is a big railway junction is Rangia, from Rangia, and rail can go to the Dispur Gauhati area and can further continue to the Darrang and Lakhimpur to Dhemaji, those areas. Rangia railway junction and Barpeta, the historic city of Barpeta Road, and of course Hazo. Hazo used to be the historic city, and when Koch kingdom is there, started by Narayan, and western part was one family rule, that is a Koch Kamata, that is the Koch Behar, now Koch Behar district. Eastern part is Koch Hazo. Later, Mughals conquered Koch and Koch Behar became a tributary state of Mughals. So Hazo used to be the historic old city, temple town, and also cultural historic capital. South of the Brahmaputra river, we have a town called Boko area. So Kulsi river flows in this state that comes from the Piedmont region, that is the Meghalaya Plateau submontane region. So then north of the river Brahmaputra, so this is the Bar Nadi. And we have the Mangaldoy and Udalgiri, Barnadi here, Dekiya Zuli, and Rangpara. That is different from Rangia and Tejpur. Remember, I might have not to put the entire complete name to conserve the space to get a broader idea. If you get lost, you can easily go back to that list I have shown and figure it out very easily. Tejpur is on the western side of river Barnadi. That is also called Jia Barali River. Jia Barali River, Kameng River, that comes from the Arunachal region. There is also district called Kameng, East Kameng and West Kameng, like that. So then the Trans-Brahmaputra district, Lakhimpur or Lakshmipur, that is the, I'm not sure the Majuli at the time belonged to that or belonged to Sibsagar. Now Majuli is close to Jorhat region. So anyway, I have put it here, Majuli. Narayanpur used to be one of the historical center in the Dwar region, and Chilai Rai used built based upon his brother's name, Kamal Ali, and they built a road, historical road in the Dwar area. That's the Narayanpur used to be the historical capital in this area. Majuli is the riverine tract island, and Subansiri, I have put the river, that is the Subansiri river, and West Subansiri, East Subansiri district in the Arunachala region. And we have Dhemaji area and Jonai area. This is the historic Chutia kings ruled there. The Ahom Raja around about 1523, I think Suklung Mung or Suhang Mung, I don't remember, in that time, they conquered, defeated the Chutia Raja or Sadiya Raja. So their capital historical region is there, surrounding the Purbanchal mountains, Pasighat area and Sadiya and all these regions. Then south of the Brahmaputra, we are talking Sibsagar district. When Sukapa came from Brahmadesha, Burma, the toy prince, and occupied this area, later became the king, and his first capital was in this area. This is also called Dihing Raja. South of Buri Dihing and Diku River and all those regions, and the historic capital where the Sukapa is buried is Charaideo, his first capital. Later Gargaon and Rangpur, Rajbari, and finally Jorhat were the capitals of the Ahom's kings. Sibsagar region or Sibsagar. Now this is the Gargaon. This is the Gargaon. And Kaziranga, the national park, is in this area. And Golaghat region. And remember here, the Mikir region, East Mikir region, West, that is the Karbi Anglang, at that time changed in different parts in Nowgong. So I have not shown that clearly, but it I'm putting East Mikir here. In the Nowgong region, I have put West Mikir here. That is the Betalangs region, the Hamrian Plateau. This is the Mikir region, the Rangia Mikir hills in this area border. So historic Nowgong district and Nowgong district, you have Marigaon at the end, and Raha. This is the place where Deshapriya Gopinath Bardolai, the first premier of Assam province, at that time chief ministers used to be called premiers, come from here, Raha region. This is in the Kapili Valley. Kapili River comes from the Mikir region, the West Hamron Plateau, extension of Jayantiya Hills, and made a very broad erosional valley here. And this is the Kaliapur. Kaliapur is the military headquarters of the great Yoda from Assam, Lachit Barphukan, who passed away 1 year after the Battle of Saraighat was fought in 1671. How do you remember? You remember 16, you remember 17. That 17 reverses. 1671 is where famous Saraighat battle was found. This is outskirts of the today's Amikavan and Gauhati, those regions. He was the headquarters there, and his last remains was buried in Jorhat, where also Purandar Singh, last Ahom Raja, was buried. They are called the Tumulis or Maidans. So that is the Broadly and Kachar Hills, Jayantia Hills, Kasi Hills, Garo Hills, and some of the point here I have shown the same thing, and you can stop here, and if you miss you can. So the Nowgong, so the things I missed, I will show the Raha, the place, that is the place where Lokapriya Gopinath Barodolai comes from. There is a railway station, Chaparmukh, and Sibsagar, Kaziranga National Park, and Gargon and Rangpur and Charaideo. A former prominent Mumini leader, and Muhammad Sadullah was also the first premier of Assam. Hails from, he is actually mostly born and brought up in Guwahati, whereas his parents' father, the ancestral village is Kacharighat village near Golaghat, that is the western part of Jorhat, east of Miki Rangma Hills in the Dhansiri River Valley, that is South Dhansiri River Valley, not Dhansiri is in the Sonitpur district. This is the Gargaon, the capital, Rangpur and Charaideo. Sukapa was the ruler there. He passed away 1268. His mounds, Maidams and Tumalis live there. And Kamrup, Guwahati, Nalbari, Tamulpur, and Rangia railway junction, and Battle of Saraighat and Battle of Alaboli in the time 1671 were fought there. Battle of Saraighat is the famous battle. Mughal conquistadors, Mumini conquistador, Islamic imperialism in Assam was forever rolled back. Lachit Barphukan, Atun Burgohain, and ruler of Ahom is Chakradhwaja Sinha Swargadwe. In the historic Goalpara district, and when Momini conquistador and spearheading the Islamic imperialism, when Aurangzeb was crowned 1661, he conquered Gargaon and made a treaty and retreated. And when he was going back to Dhaka, Dhakeshwari town, and he passed away in the Dhubri region, that used to be in the Goalpara district. I will show you the place. And Takurdbari. So I will show you the place I forgot. The Tukurarbari village. And this is, you have to have a broad understanding of Assam. And the problem in 1826 Treaty of Yandabu, and between the British and Burmese conquered by overthrowing the Ahom kings at that time, and later they nominated Purandar Singha, and Purandar Singha, they didn't pay the taxes properly, and all those, he annexed his kingdom. 1826, 30 also. 1947 partition, Radcliffe line, Dauki line, that is the Barak line, or Jinjiram line, Sylhet referendum, and 52 6 state reorganization, bigger Assam. At that time, Assam, after 1972, then Assam was bifurcated, trifurcated, or into many provinces like Meghalaya, Nagaland, and Mizoram, whereas the Manipur and Tripura were princely states by themselves. So, spatio-temporal areas of the districts vary. When you say the prime 7 district, you have to remember these things. Goalpara and Kamrup and Darrang, Lakhimpur, this is across the river Brahmaputra. This is the Trans-Brahmaputra district, very big district. Then Sibsagar, south of Brahmaputra, and Nowgong. I have put a Kachar. I will show you the Kachar in next time, Kachar. Sylhet and United Kachar Mikir. So I have just broadened 7. Sometimes the numbers can vary. So you have to keep in that mind. These are not written in stone like Bhagavad Gita. Sylhet district, Sylhet district, United Kachar district, United Mikir Hills, and so on. Those type of things we will cover. So sometimes people say Upper Assam, Lower Assam, anything behind east of the Kameng River, Jia Barali River is Upper Assam, Upper Brahmaputra Valley. Anything left side is, this is the meridian, or east of the Greenwich Mean Line, Lower Assam. So Upper Assam is essentially now the the eastern part of the Tehsils district, that is the Darrang district, now Bishwanath district and Lakhimpur districts and Dhemaji district. That's the northern part again. Southern part is south of the river. Lower Assam, lower Brahmaputra Valley, northern part of north of Assam, south of Assam here. So there is a broader differentiation. So the Radcliffe line is a partition line, and Dauki line and Barak line, Sankosh line, Jinjiram line. These are a similar term sometimes people use, and you keep in mind. And Bhagirathi line or Hooghly line means the Purbi Bengal, that is the Mashriki Bengal, and so on. So these are the historic 7 districts here I'm showing. Goalpara district, Kamrup district, Darrang and Lakhimpur, and Nowgong district, and Sibsagar district. So you have 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and Koch. It's the historic Sylhet district and Mymensingh district and Dhaka and Meghalaya and so on. I have covered elsewhere the prominent prime ministers, premiers. Here I am showing in the partition series, part 22. You can look at it. Assam first premier was Syed Muhammad Sadullah, and when he actually the next is the Gopinath Bardoli. Then those are the premiers at that time. We are showing here Rehagaon, that is where the Lokapriya Gopinath Bardoli comes from. That should be in the Kabili River Valley, that Roha in the historic Nowgong district. You can see Roha here, Rehagaon. Yeah, that's the place. The Nowgong here and Gauhati Pragjyotishapura there. That's the Rahale. And Duar Wars was fought in 1865. The northern part of now Goalpara district, Kamrup district, Tehsils, that parts were given to British East India Company. That is Assam, now essentially Bodo region, northern part, Tamulpur and Mushalpur and Chirang, Baksa, those regions. And James Runnell was the first geographer. He is called generally father of Indian geography during the colonial British imperial time. And the maps he made. So systemization of the geographical knowledge in Bharat. So Mir Jumla's Dargah. Mir Jumla, the Momini conquistador of Assam, and he defeated the Raja, Ahom's Raja Chakradeva. When he was coming back, he passed away at Thakur. That's where I hard to pronounce to me now. Thakur. Thakurabari, that's the village. That is next to is actually border between Meghalaya's Garo district and historic Goalpara district. Now it used to be in the Dhubri district, now is in the South Salmara district, that is the Mankachar area. So you can see that. Essentially, we can say between that Jinjiram, that is actually on the bank of river Jinjiram, that is the Tura town there. So this is the Rahat town. This is the Kacharihat, that's the ancestral village of one of the leaders responsible for the changing the demography of Assam region, grow more food campaign at that time, actually dumping the Mymensingh Bayalog in Assam and making it Assam Hindu minority province. He played a prominent role in that, and he was also chief minister, and that is the Kacharihat village east of this, the Golaghat town. Golaghat is next to that Mikiri plateau and west side of Jorhat. So Mahavir Lachit Barphukan passed away after 1 year, within few months. When he passed away, he was hardly 50 years, actually 49. And 1 year before, he was the victor at a famous battle, that is the Saraighat battle, 1671. His last remains are buried at Jorhat town. That is the cultural capital of Assam and last remains. Also, Jorhat also holds the last remains of Swargadev Purandara Sinha, who passed away, I think, around about 1840s or so. So, Muhammad Sadullah, the premier of 1937 to 38, and then Lokapriya Gopinath Bardoli from Raha. Sadullah is his parents' ancestral village in the Golaghat district. Used to be in the Jorhat district at that time. Used to be in Sibsagar, historic Sibsagar district. Gopinath Bardoli, and you see Kachari Ghat village of Muhammad Sadullah, known for famous Grow More Muslim campaign, GMF. Grow More Food. That was the actual name given. Gopinath Bardoli from Rah. Sadullah Lachit Barphukan. He was the military commander at Kaliabor. The Kaliabor is a town close to Kaziranga National Park and Kaliabor. And he is buried at Jorhat. His maidam is at Jorhat. And historic Ahom's cultural center Koch Bihar and Koch Hazo. You can see Koch Hazo in the Kamrup district, Guwahati here. And Kaliabor, you can see the historic city of Kaliabor, where the Lachit Barphukan Senani has his headquarters. And Jayantipur we'll talk about later, and Gargaon, where the Shukapa and later the successors rule in this area. Sadia, the Chutia kings or Sadia kings used to there rule their Baraboyans, and the third Ahom king, Ahom king later in 1520s 30s during the first battle of Panipatam conquered the Sadia kingdom. The historic colonial Assam, you can see Garo and you can see Goalpara district and Kamrup district, Darrang and Lakhimpur. You can see the spellings different. Sadia district and Naga Hilly region, Manipur and Tripura region, and Kachar and Jayantia and Nowgong area. Same thing pre-Radcliffe time. These are the districts Goalpara, Kamrup and Darrang and Lakhimpur, Sivasagar, Nowgong and Kachar. See, sometimes you don't see the modern like Miki Karbi Anglang district, because remember those areas might be in the Sibsagar sometimes, Nowgong in sometimes, and Kachar Hilly area sometimes. So you have to keep those things, and Sylhet district here. And Sylhet and Sunamganj and Habiganj and Karimganj. Karimganj in the referendum came back to Bharat and now later incorporated into Kachar district, later called Sylhet district, later trifurcated into Karimganj and Helakandi and residual Kachar, that is Sylhet. And did I miss anything? So very important to know the places. Take for example, when you say Aurangzeb has his military headquarters, de facto capital of Bharat, for nearly 4 to 5 years. And Gal Gali, you have to know where is the Gal Gali, that is near Bilgi, that is the Bagalkot. If you understand where it is, you can conceptualize the socio-political economic events that has happened. If you don't really know the place, it will be a little less articulate. Still one can understand it, but the articulation will be less. That's why I have taken a lot of effort to bring all these things in a very picturesque way for the audience. The Galgali there. And this was in Jera campaign. Later, why last campaign, Gajwa Jihad in Deccan against the Marathas and local Berad Nayaks at Vajinjera, that is the historic Yadgir region, and that is the Kulbarga region in the Bhima Valley. So, if you know where Vajinjera, then you can understand the history, culture, and how those things flew very well. In general, that is the what I wanted to talk today in this presentation, that is the old districts, taluks, Tehsils. Of Assam part A, we covered Goalpara, Kamrup, Darrang, Lakhimpur, Sivasagar, and Nowgong. In the next part, we will be covering Garo region, Kasi Hills, and Jaintia region, and Kachar region, Sylhet region, or Sylhet region. Thank you very much, Bandhuvam and Mitro. And if you like this presentation, and you can post your comment, or even you can bring it to the notice of your friends. If you can subscribe the channel, that will be even more appreciated. And see you later. Your presenter, Dr. J. Reddy, Jogari Tirupati Reddy, South Asia Maps.